Alright, Yankees universe. Strap in and hold on to your pinstripes because what I'm about to unleash on you is not just a hot take. It's a full-blown seismic shift that could redefine the American League for the next decade. Forget everything you think you know about the Yankees' offseason plans. Forget Kyle Tucker. Forget the Cody Bellinger reunion tour. Forget all the predictable moves that every armchair general manager has been throwing around on social media since the World Series ended in that gut-wrenching disappointment. A former Yankees outfielder just detonated a verbal nuclear device that has sent shockwaves rippling through the entire baseball landscape. And what he's proposing isn't just bold, it's absolutely audacious, borderline insane. And if it happens, it'll make every rival GM in the league wake up in a cold sweat. Cameron Maybin, who wore the pinstripes back in 2019 and knows exactly what it takes to survive and thrive. In the Bronx pressure cooker, the sleepless nights, the media circus, the fan expectations that could crush a lesser man, has just laid out the blueprint for a move so massive, so franchise-altering, so completely unexpected that it would immediately catapult the Yankees back to the top of the American League hierarchy. We're not talking about adding another solid piece to complement what's already here. Oh no, folks. We're talking about acquiring a legitimate ace. A two-time Cy Young Award winner who just dominated the American League, a left-handed power pitcher, entering his absolute prime, who could transform the Yankees' rotation from a question mark into a weapon of mass destruction. Cameron Maybin is calling for Brian Cashman to trade for Tarik Skubal. And if the Yankees actually pull this off, every single team in baseball better start sweating because the balance of power just got flipped on its head. Let's break this down, step by step, because this isn't just a rumor. It's a revolution waiting to explode. First, let's set the scene here, because the Yankees just went through another season that ended with that all-too-familiar, bitter taste of postseason failure. And people are furious, absolutely furious about how it went down. Sure, they made it to the World Series, which is further than 28 other teams got, but losing to the Dodgers. In 5 games felt like getting punched in the stomach after months of believing this might finally be the year. The starting rotation showed cracks when the stakes were highest. The bullpen was overworked, trying to compensate. And once again, the Yankees were left wondering what might have been if they just had that second dominant starting pitcher to pair with Jarrett Cole. This isn't a new problem, folks. This has been the Yankees' Achilles heel for years now. The glaring weakness that gets exposed every single October when championship caliber teams need 5 or 6 legitimate starting pitchers who can handle pressure situations and deliver quality innings against the best lineups in baseball. Remember last year's ALCS against the Astros? Cole was lights out, but the rest of the rotation crumbled under the weight. And the year before, same story. Fans are outraged, media is calling it a systemic failure, and executives like Hal Steinbrenner are probably pacing their offices, wondering why this keeps happening. It's not just about talent, it's about depth, and the Yankees have been playing with fire for too long. Garrett Cole remains the unquestioned ace, the guy you want on the mound in Game 1 of any playoff series, but Father Time is undefeated, and Cole is getting older. He's still elite, he's still dominant when he's right. Look at his 2.63 ERA and 222 strikeouts last season, but relying on one aging ace to carry your entire rotation through October is a recipe for heartbreak. The Yankees need that second legitimate #1 starter, that other ace who can take the ball in Game 2 or Game 3 of a playoff series and give you the same level of dominance that Cole provides. Max Fried was signed this offseason in a move that made sense on paper, bringing a proven left-handed starter with postseason experience to bolster the rotation. But is Max Fried enough? Is he that true #2 ace, or is he more realistically a very good #3 starter on a championship-caliber team? His 3-2 era in Atlanta was solid, but against elite lineups, we've seen him struggle. Carlos Rodon has the stuff to be elite when he's healthy, but those last 3 words are the problem. When he's healthy. Rodon's injury history is extensive, and concerning Tommy John surgery in 2019, shoulder issues, and a string of DL stints that have limited him to just 132 innings over the last 2 seasons, Counting on him to give you 30-plus starts of A's-level production is a gamble that hasn't paid off consistently. Fans are screaming for stability. Then there's the Sandy Alcantara situation, which represents both tremendous upside and significant uncertainty. The Yankees acquired Alcantara from the Marlins, knowing he was recovering from Tommy John surgery, betting that when he returns to full health, he'll be the same dominant pitcher who won the Cy Young Award in 2022. His 2.28 ERA and 207 strikeouts that year were otherworldly. That's a reasonable bet, but Tommy John recovery is unpredictable. Even in the best-case scenario, Alcantara might not be ready for the start of the season or might need months to fully regain his form. Building championship plans around a pitcher coming back from major elbow surgery is hoping for the best while preparing for something less than optimal. And scouts are whispering that his velocity might not return to pre-surgery levels. Executives are hedging their bets, but fans want guarantees, not gambles. This is where Cameron Maybin just changed the entire conversation with one social media post that cut through all the noise and forced everyone to consider a scenario that seemed almost too good to be true. Maybin isn't some random talking head on sports television throwing out hot takes for clicks and controversy. This is a former Yankee who lived in that clubhouse, who experienced the intensity of playing baseball in New York, who understands the unique pressures and demands that come with wearing the pinstripes, the paparazzi, the expectations, the way the city chews up and spits out the weak. When Maybin speaks about what the Yankees need, it carries weight because he's been there. He's seen championship-caliber teams up close. And he knows exactly what separates the contenders from the pretenders. What Maybin is saying right now is that Brian Cashman needs to pick up the phone, call the Detroit Tigers, and do whatever it takes to acquire Tarik Skubal. It's not just a suggestion. It's a mandate, and the league is buzzing. Media outlets are calling it Maybin's manifesto, and fans are flooding social media with, "Do it" chants. But here's the crazy part. Is this just a veteran's wisdom? Or is there something more sinister at play? Could Maybin be leaking insider info? Conspiracy theorists are already speculating that this is part of a bigger plan. Maybe even orchestrated by the Yankees front office to gauge interest. Whatever it is, it's got everyone talking. Let's talk about who Tarik Skubal actually is. Because if you've been sleeping on what he accomplished over the last 2 seasons, you need to wake up immediately. This guy's a beast. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan pitcher who had one good year. This isn't a guy riding unsustainable metrics or getting lucky with balls in play. Tarik Skubal just won his 2nd consecutive American League Cy Young Award, becoming only the latest left-handed power pitcher to completely dominate the league over an extended period. In 2024, Skubal posted a 2.39 earned run average while striking out 228 batters. In just over 200 innings pitched, those aren't good numbers. Those are elite ace-level top-over rotation. Numbers that maybe 5 or 6 pitchers in all of baseball can match. His strikeout rate was astronomical, over 11 per 9 innings. His walk rate was minimal at just 1.8 per 9. And he consistently gave the Tigers a chance to win every single time he took the mound. Scouting reports rave about his splitter, which induces weak contact, and his fastball-slider combo that leaves hitters swinging at air. Projections, 5-year WAR of 15+, easy. But why is this strategic? Because Skubal's dominance isn't fluky. It's built on elite command and pitch mix. It's making him a perfect fit for Yankee Stadium's dimensions, where lefties thrive. What makes Skubal even more valuable is his age and contract situation. This isn't a 35-year-old veteran looking for one final payday before retirement. Tarik Skubal is 28 years old, firmly in his prime. At the exact age when power pitchers typically produce their best seasons, think Garrett Cole at his peak. He's got the experience to handle pressure situations. It's the stuff to dominate elite lineups, and the durability to eat innings throughout a long season. He's thrown over 190 innings in back-to-back seasons, proving he can handle the workload of being a true #1 starter. His mechanics are clean and repeatable, which suggests he's not a ticking time bomb waiting to blow out his elbow. Everything about Skubal's profile screams a S-level starter for the next 5 to 7 years. Exactly the kind of pitcher championship teams are built around. And here's the intrigue. Is Detroit manipulating this? Reports suggest they're open to trades, but is it a smokescreen to drive up his value? Fans are paranoid, media is digging, and executives are playing chess. Here's where the situation gets really interesting and why. Maybin's suggestion isn't as far-fetched as it might initially seem. The Detroit Tigers, despite having a legitimate ace in Skubal, might actually be willing to listen to trade offers. Multiple reports from around the league suggest that Detroit isn't prepared to pay Skubal what he's going to command when he hits free agency after the 2026 season. Does this sound familiar? It should, because it's almost exactly the situation Yankees found themselves in with Juan Soto trading him to the Mets for prospects rather than losing him for nothing. The Tigers are a small market franchise operating under financial constraints that make it nearly impossible to retain superstar players when they reach free agency. Rather than lose Skubal for nothing when he walks in 2 years, Detroit might decide that trading him now while his value is at its absolute peak makes more sense for their long-term rebuild. They could acquire a package of elite prospects and controllable young players who could help them contend in 3 or 4 years, when their competitive window actually opens. But is this manipulation? Conspiracy alert. Some insiders whispered that the Tigers are using Skubal as bait to lure bigger offers, potentially from the Dodgers or Phillies, to accelerate their rebuild. Fans are outraged at the idea of losing a homegrown star, and media is calling it Detroit's dilemma. Executives are tight-lipped, but the speculation is rampant. For the Yankees, this represents the kind of opportunity that doesn't come around often. You have a chance to acquire a 20-year-old two-time Cy Young winner who's under team control for 2 more seasons, giving you certainty and stability in your rotation through at least 2026. Any trade for Skubal would almost certainly include an immediate contract extension, locking him into the organization long-term and ensuring he doesn't just become a rental. We're probably talking about a 6-year extension worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $160 million, which sounds like a lot of money until you realize that's actually market value for an A's-level starter in today's game. Max Scherzer got more than that when he was older. Garrett Cole got more than that. Jacob deGrom got more than that before his body betrayed him. Paying $160 million for 6 years of Tarik Skubal's prime isn't an overpay. It's the going rate for elite starting pitching, and fans are demanding it. Social media is ablaze with pay the man posts. Cameron Maybin laid out exactly what the Yankees' rotation would look like with Skubal and pinstripes. And just reading through the potential starting 5 is enough to make any Yankees fan's heart race with anticipation. Imagine this. Game 1 of the playoffs, Garrett Cole on the mound. Still the veteran ace, with championship pedigree and October experience as playoff era, is a stellar 2.45. Game 2, Tarik Skubal, a left-handed power pitcher with elite strikeout stuff who just won back-to-back. Cy Young Awards his splitter has a 40% whiff rate. Game 3, Max Fried, suddenly slotted into the number 3 spot where he's probably most effective. Taking pressure off and allowing him to just go out and pitch his changeup could neutralize right-handed power hitters. Game 4, Carlos Rodon, when healthy. Using his electric stuff in a role where he's not being asked to be the number 2 starter, his fastball tops 98 miles per hour. Game 5. Sandy Alcantara, if he's back to form, is giving you yet another power arm with ace potential. His sinker induces ground balls at a 50% rate. That's not just a playoff rotation. That's a championship rotation that would legitimately strike fear into every opposing lineup in baseball. That's the kind of starting pitching depth that wins World Series, that allows your manager to be aggressive with the bullpen, that gives you multiple paths to victory in any given game. You're not scrambling to find a 4th or 5th starter who can just survive 5 innings. You're rolling out legitimate weapons every single night, forcing opposing offenses to face elite stuff from the first pitch through the 7th or 8th inning. That's how you beat the Astros in the playoffs. That's how you match up with the Dodgers' super rotation. That's how you finally bring championship number 28 back to the Bronx. Fans are dreaming of it. Media is hyping it. And executives are probably salivating. Let's break down what adding Skubal would mean from multiple angles, because this move would impact every facet of the organization. From a pure roster construction standpoint, Acquiring Skubal gives the Yankees exactly what they've been missing for years: truest level depth in the starting rotation. Having Cole and Skubal as your 1-2 punch in October is the kind of foundation that wins. Championships compare it to the Braves-Acuna-Riley duo in the outfield. You're not asking one aging ace to carry the entire load. You're distributing the workload across two elite starters who can both dominate lineups and give you 7 or 8 quality innings in crucial games. Max Fried immediately becomes a much more valuable piece when he's your number 3 starter instead of being asked to be the clear number 2. His stuff plays up in that role. And suddenly, the pressure on him decreases substantially. His ERA could drop below 3.00. Carlos Rodon's health concerns become less catastrophic because you're not depending on him to be that second ace. If he's healthy and effective, great, you have incredible depth. If he's hurt or inconsistent, you still have 3 elite starters ahead of him in the rotation. That's the kind of organizational depth that championship teams possess. The ability to absorb injuries and inconsistency without completely derailing your season. Think how the Dodgers handled Buehler's absences. Sandy Alcantara's recovery timeline becomes less urgent because you're not counting on him to save your rotation. If he comes back and pitches like a Cy Young winner, you have potentially 5 legitimate Excalibur starters. If he needs more time or struggles initially, you still have 4 excellent options ahead of him. The tactical implications for manager Aaron Boone would be massive and would fundamentally change how he manages games throughout the season, and especially in October. Having that kind of starting pitching depth means Boone can be more aggressive with how he uses the bullpen, knowing that his starters are likely to give him quality innings deep into games. He doesn't have to quick hook a struggling starter in the 5th inning because he's worried about the next guy being even worse. He can let his aces work through tough spots, trust their stuff, and ride them deeper into ball games. In the playoffs, that kind of depth is absolutely invaluable because it allows you to manage your bullpen strategically over a 7-game series, avoiding having to overuse your best relievers early and having them unavailable later. Remember how the Astros burned through their pen in 2019? The psychological impact on the clubhouse can't be understated either. When Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and the veteran core see management making a move this aggressive, it sends an unmistakable message. We are all in on winning right now. There's no half measures, no hoping prospects develop, no waiting for the perfect moment. The organization is committing significant resources and prospects to acquire a legitimate superstar because the championship window is open and we're not wasting it. That kind of aggressive roster building creates momentum and belief within a clubhouse, making players believe that management is doing everything possible to put them in position to win